Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. And man, I asked for replays, and boy did you guys deliver. We've got an awesome replay today with Bretonnia going up against the Warriors of Chaos. So very tough matchup potentially for Bretonnia. Let's have a look at the builds. Fey Enchantress going to be leading the way, of course. She's got Regrowth and Earthblood with most of her abilities and items. We've got the Royal Hippogryph Knights as well, Grail Knights and Companions of Quenelle on the left flank, so all the mobility elite powers over here. And we've got a whole bunch of peasants, lots of spearmen-at-arms, peasant mobs. We've got 4 peasant bowmen, a couple of men-at-arms with polearms, with the Beast Slayers of Bastogne in the rear. We've got a Grail Relic, of course. Just lots and lots of bodies to throw at the warriors here. Speaking of which, Warriors of Chaos got a couple of Marauder Horsemen. No throwing axes, but we do have some Chaos Marauders in the front line. Looks like 5 units of them. A couple of Chosen with Halberds, obviously very good here. Demon Spew and the Mirror Guard, as well as one more group of Forsaken, and a couple of Marauder Horse Masters, as well as Big Bird with no spells. Just for the magic resistance, unbreakable, terror, and everything. And the actual spellcaster is going to be this Death Sorcerer here. He's got Spirit Leech and Fate of Boring. So, without further ado, let's get the battle underway. You can see the Bretonnian player pushing up very slightly. He does definitely have a serious ranged advantage here, so he's going to want to be using these archers as much as possible to try and force the Chaos player to come to him, which looks like he's going to be able to. The Chaos player slowly making his way forward here. Forsaken are an interesting pick. The main reason why you don't see me use Forsaken nearly as much as I used to in Game 1 is that melee defense matters a lot more than it used to, and Forsaken also have lower health and armor and a lower model count than many other similarly priced infantry, including Chaos Warriors. So just with the way that the stats work in Game 2, Forsaken are a lot less effective than they used to be. They still can be good in the right situation. They have a ton of weapon strength, but I mean, just compared to even something like a Saurus or you know, a Chaos Warrior, they really pale in comparison, which is why you don't see them too much. The Regiment of Renowned Demon Spew do gain poison. They honestly still only have like 29 melee defense, which is just really not very good for a unit this expensive. They do also have Swarm of Flies, which helps minorly, but frontline you can see the Marauders going to be meeting the peasant mobs, you know, using their pitchforks and their mallets, trying to do some damage here. The Hippogryph Knights come in and quickly terrify away one unit, which is very advantageous. You can see the Bretonnian player kind of forcing this left flank a little bit there, while the Chaos player trying to overload on the on his left, on the Bretonnian right. But yeah, you can see the Horsemasters going to come forward and start to pitch their javelins at the Hippogryph Knights. This is a decent target. Definitely going to wish they had the throwing axes, but very nice job by the Peasant Archers responding here, opening up shots and pushing back those Marauder Horsemen, even felling a few of them on the way out. Big Bird pushing up, trying to decide where he wants to land home here. The Chosen with Halberds may have been better to just keep them in a little bit of a reserve and then try and run these Forsaken and the Mirror Guard forward to break up the peasants. You can see the Marauders are managing to push through a bit on this side here, but the Forsaken still just being held in reserve for now. I'm not 100% sure why, but this is what I mean here. These Chosen are just get themselves isolated here, and I mean, granted, the Companions of Quenelle are going to need to pull away from this engagement pretty quickly, or else they're going to start to take quite a bit of damage, but still, the Chosen isolating themselves like this ended up being pretty bad. That being said, they did get some damage done. Does look like a regrowth is going to be going down on those Companions, but yeah, the Hippogryph Knights did come down and try and get on Big Bird. They did get a little bit of damage done, but here come the Grail Knights as well. So a Bretonnian player definitely focusing everything on the leadership of Chaos at the outset, which is exactly what he should do. You can see Bretonnian infantry getting pushed back across the board. The peasants obviously just not able to hold up to Marauders even, and the Forsaken now coming in as well. You can see they're going to take quite a bit of shock damage, even though they weren't directly targeted from that charge there. And just in general, Forsaken you'll find are relatively weak to shock damage from infantry or cavalry for that matter, which of course Bretonnian have lots of heavy cavalry. And yeah, anyway, you can see the Demon Spew over here getting tangled up with Marauders, the Grail Knights, Royal Hippogryph Knights coming down as well, doing a ton of damage. So far haven't really been challenged. You can see these Demon Spew did get themselves, again, kind of isolated. They do have some support from these Marauders here, but just because they're so few in number and they have low melee defense, they're going to start to take quite a bit of damage. It's like maybe a Fate of Buna was going to go down on those men-at-arms with polearms? Really? That's very interesting. Nope, looks like it going down on the Royal Hippogryph Knights, which is actually a big mistake. The reason being that these guys only have 6 unit models, so Spirit Leech would actually be significantly more effective against them. But you can see Big Bird pushing in the back line, breaking up some of the archers here, trying to terrify them away. Definitely doing a great job doing so. The Fey Enchantress, meanwhile, sitting in combat here, is going to be doing her nice area of effect damage as well. And, yeah, Hippogryph Knights coming down, getting a solid surround on Sartharel, and he's in big trouble here. He needs to pull out of this situation. That being said, the Bretonnian infantry is suffering pretty badly here. You can see Forsaken and Chosen starting to cut through the men-at-arms with polearms here, and the Beastslayers of Bastogne. I mean, obviously, Beastslayers, reasonably elite unit for Bretonnia, but nothing compared to Chosen with halberds. But Big Bird is starting to take a lot of damage here. You can see Companions of Quenelle, the Hippogryph Knights, a few of them holding back the Forsaken here, as the rest try and beat down Big Bird here. I believe Royal Hippogryph Knights, yep, all 6 unit models still online here very critically. It's going to be very important in the late game. Grail Relic unfortunately getting chased off though, and Bretonnia getting very light on infantry at this point. There's just a few men-at-arms with polearms and the Beastslayers holding out at this point, but Big Bird's just about to go down here. Can he escape through his own halberds? Now the Chosen with halberds, you know, the Hippogryph Knights do not want to fight the Chosen with halberds in a sustained melee, so as the Chosen kind of start to filter in here, the Royal Hippogryph Knights are going to need to pull away very quickly. It does look like they're trying to focus down that Death Sorcerer first, though, which is effective in and of itself, but they are starting to take a lot of damage from those Chosen with halberds. The Javelins also throwing in there, so the Hippogryph Knights are going to go ahead and pull back up into the air here. And yeah, Hippogryph Knights definitely a lot more effective than Pegasus Knights. I think that they are actually a pretty viable unit right now in a few different matchups. We'll see how they do in this late game here, but there are still a few Tattered Grail Knights going to charge in and get some good damage done on this Chaos Sorcerer here. Again, rear charging the Chosen with halberds is really the only thing that Bretonnia can do at this point. The Fey Enchantress obviously can try and sit in combat with them briefly, but she really doesn't want to fight them too hard. But a very nice Alpha Strike coming in, just overwhelming force with the Grail Knights and the Hippogryph Knights here, just about able to cheese out this unit of Chosen with halberds. You can see they have taken a lot of damage and starting to get worn down a little bit. Granted, they do have pretty good leadership, and with Sartharel still being alive especially, they probably won't give up the fight to the terror of these Royal Hippogryph Knights, but Hippogryph Knights charging down into the Mirror Guard and the Forsaken, trying to free up these Grail Knights here. You can see the, I thought those were the Demon Spew. Nope, maybe no Demon Spew still on station, but you can see the infantry just about finished off here. Marauder Horsemen still throwing in axes, and it's going to be tough, you know, for the Bretonnian player to pull this out. This balance power is starting to tip against them. You can see just about all the infantry gone. A few units potentially may regroup here and there, but we'll fast forward a little bit through this late game as the Bretonnian player is going to try and finish off Big Bird here. You can see the Marauder Horsemen going to form a nice screen so that Big Bird can just walk straight through them. However, this does mean that the Marauder Horsemen have to be in melee against the Hippogriffs, which is definitely not what they want. You know, losing unit models here, losing out on ammo is going to be tough. All the ammo that they have left is going to be necessary. You can see the Hippogryph Knights getting close to their healing cap, and no doubt the Fey Enchantress still does have some Winds of Magic online. You can see these, 5 Grail Knights regrouping, charging in with their perfect vigor, and going to be doing a tiny bit of damage to these Marauder Horse Masters here. Might even get dragged down in the process, but a heroic final charge nonetheless, allowing these Hippogryph Knights to get back up into the air. And again, we're going to jump to a fast forward, as there is quite a bit of positioning here. You can see the Hippogriffs trying to decide who to go after, and the last of the Javelins are being thrown up into the air at them, doing a little bit of damage here. Again, every amount of damage that can be done in this late game will help. Hippogryph Knights just about lose their leadership there, but a timely Earthblood is going to keep them on the battlefield and fighting. You can see them getting some nice healing there, and their leadership stabilizes somewhat, so we'll fast forward a little bit longer as the Hippogryph Knights do come down on the Horsemen and the Horse Masters. Look like they're going directly after the Fey Enchantress at this point, but yeah, Hippogryph Knights Being able to catch these guys is very, very beneficial. They will be able to take out quite a few unit models and potentially even terrify some away. It looks like the Fanchantress does get into combat, which of course going to drop that Miss of the Lady there, which does lower the melee attack of these Horsemasters as well, which is definitely beneficial for the Fae herself. But yeah, you can see the Hippogryph Knights are actually able to get an effective terror route here. Most of the cav for the Chaos player is terrified away there. Big Bird tries to come over, but that's going to be a big mistake. If Big Bird goes down here, that could hand the battle back over to the Bretonnian player. You can see a few tattered regrouped units of infantry. Fanchantress comes over to try and drop a rear charge penalty, which does manage to terrify away these Horsemasters. So yeah, so far so good. Royal Hippogryph Knights still all 6 unit models online, which at this late stage of the battle is absolutely critical. Unfortunately, the Royal Hippogryph Knights don't have the perfect vigor trait like the Pegasus Knights or the Grail Knights do. Would arguably make them a little bit OP potentially, but yeah, you can see the Fanchantress does get caught up a bit by some Horsemasters here. That does mean the Hippogryph Knights may be potentially going to try and finish off Big Bird here before they try and come and help out the Fanchantress. She seems to be handling herself just fine at the moment, you know, blowing up some of those Horsemasters, but last volley, so looks like the Chaos player has no ammo whatsoever left. Those Horsemasters just decide, hey, let's just get out of here. These Horsemasters continuing to try to go after the Fanchantress, some halberds standing around here, and that does mean we're going to get kind of a final engagement going down here. Yep, here come the Hippogryph Knights charging down one more time, landing right on top of the Marauder Horsemen here, trying to rout them off, trying to save these desperate peasants here who just immediately run away. That's okay. At this point, yeah, the Horsemasters are gone, so the Hippogriffs can start to cycle charge the infantry. You can see they come and finish off Big Bird there, and that does bring the balance of power a lot closer to even. It's still definitely heavily in the Chaos player's favor at this point, but a lot of the Chaos units are quite isolated. You can see these Chaos Marauders here, isolated from the Chosen, are going to get terrified away. So we'll fast forward a little bit longer as the Chaos player is going to kind of form up into a more defensive position here, which is exactly what he should do in this situation. But yeah, Hippogryph Knights are going to have a hard time cycle charging out these Chosen with halberds. This group especially, with 51 unit models, 206 kills, just been absolute MVPs here for the Chaos player. And Chaos, one of the reasons they're so good against Bretonnia is they have incredibly cost-effective anti-large AP. You can see the Chaos player kind of forming up into a little bit of defensive geometry here. The Mirror Guard also following up. They've still got 65 unit models, so all good there. They are also immune to psychology, so they won't be terrified away by the Hippogryph Knights. The Hippogryph Knights do come down directly on top of the Mirror Guard to try and get some damage done on them. Honestly, don't get that much damage done at the end of the day. I'm going to try and get back up into the air. Mirror Guard do have 58 melee defense, which is very, very high. Makes them an incredibly tanky unit, but yeah, we'll see. Should be the final engagement going down soon. Looks like the Fanchantress thinking about it. We'll fast forward a little bit more as both players just kind of resting at this point, but the Hippogryph Knights come down, charge into the Mirror Guard, and sensing that his Hippogriffs won't be able to beat all these Chosen, the Bretonnian player is going to go ahead and drop the best Comet I have ever seen. Oh man, that's a game-winning Comet right there. And it does enough damage that a lot of these Chaos troops all of a sudden are uncomfortable with their life decisions up to this point. And with the I thought the Hippogryph Knights might regroup. Oh, looks like they do regroup there. And with them coming back down and dropping a rear charge here, that should terrify away both these groups of Chosen and win the battle for Bretonnia. You can see the balance power has swung back into Bretonnia's favor finally here. And here comes the last charge of the Hippogryph Knights, getting in there, just munching on those Chosen, doing a ton of shock damage and terrifying away both groups, sealing the victory for Bretonnia. And a super great battle. Big thanks to Legate Leonidas for sending that one in. That was an awesome battle. Holy crap. You know, I thought he had for sure lost that one in that late game situation where he just had the Fanchantress and the Hippogryph Knights, but heroic Hippogryph Knights absolutely taking that game in the late game there, just finishing off Big Bird, you know, dropping terror bombs, singling out isolated units, and just generally being incredibly cost effective. Of course, the Fey Enchantress did dump a significant amount of her healing into them. They did get to their healing cap, but that means they probably were cost effective. And make no mistake, 185 kills up to a silver XP chevron. These guys were MVPs. 133 kills on the Grail Knights as well, not too bad. 66 for the companions. You'd hope for a little bit more from these guys, but nonetheless, the elite Cav force able to do the work it needed to for Bretonnia. 112 kills for the Fey Enchantress as well. You know, between the Mists of the Lady and the Comets, definitely got some excellent damage done. For the Chaos player, I mean, obviously chosen with halberds, are an incredibly strong unit in this particular matchup, and a very, very good choice. I agree mostly with this infantry composition. The main thing I would do is, let's actually check the cost on the Demon Spew. I would probably cut the Demon Spew and the regular Forsaken, and if the cost lines up, bring some Dragon Ogres, especially the Regiment of Renown Dragon Ogres. They have magic attacks. So let's see, Demon Spew are what, 1,000 plus 750, so 1,750 would get you a regular group of Dragon Ogres. If you could maybe fine-tune a couple things for cost here or there, you could upgrade those to the Summoners of Rage. With their magic damage, going to be very good against any units with the Blessing of the Lady, so, you know, Hippogryph Knights, Grail Knights, things like that. These guys will be extra effective against them. And of course, if you really want to go for a full-on meta pick, I would definitely recommend you just trade out Big Bird for Kolek there. I think Big Bird without any abilities or spells is probably cheaper than Kolek. Yeah, it's only 1650, which is actually pretty cheap, so definitely a good cheap option there. But of course, Kolek does give you that elite anti-large armor piercing strength against Bretonnia, which can potentially be very powerful. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that one. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.